Hello, my name's Carole. This is my channel Sew Carole, and welcome to my sewing room today for #Friday Sews. Friday Sews was started by the lovely Jen in Today and Jen's sewing room, as we all say every week. Now, I hope Jen isn't going to mind, but I'm going to throw some figures out at you about #Friday Sews. Looking back, it was started right at the beginning of September 2020, which is quite a significant year if we all remember. So it's been going for 3 years now, and if my Google searching is correct, then there are 248 channels that either regularly do Friday Sews or have contributed and used the hashtag once. So that's 248 channels have used this, and there are currently on YouTube in the region of 4,800 videos, #Friday Sews. Jen, you're awesome. You have created a beast, and long may it continue. Now, if you saw the thumbnail of my video for #Friday Sews this week, I said I'm giving you a warning against this particular pattern, Simplicity 9473, for the jacket. I'm not sure if anyone has done the jacket before. I know some people have done the dress. I'm giving you a warning, nothing to do with the pattern's bad, but just don't make the mistake that I did. I'm going to talk about it briefly now, and then I'll talk about the jacket later. But in case you clicked onto my video to see the warning, I'm just going to tell you very quickly, this is a lined jacket. Do not make the mistake I did and got a completely different colour contrasting lining. The lining goes right up to the edge of the jacket. If you later on in the video, I'll show you a bit more in detail, but just a warning, if you use contrasting lining, the lining goes right up to the edge of the jacket, so you're potentially going to see the lining, which I really didn't want at all, so had to change it. But yeah, just be cautious of this pattern, but I'm going to review it in more detail a bit later. I did an awful thing last week. As you know, I met up with Adam from Adam Sews and Izzy, who is over from Canada, and her channel is Dizzy Quilts and Sews, as I'm sure you all know. But they gave me some gifts and I forgot to mention them, so I'm going to show them quickly now. First of all was some fabric that Adam gave me. Now, Adam, you told me what this was and I've forgotten it already. This shows how useless I am. But it is the softest jersey. You can see it's kind of a lilac and white stripes. Absolutely, probably cotton jersey. He called it something and I can't remember what it is, but there's masses of it. It's absolutely wonderful. I'm so pleased. So, gosh, isn't he generous? And of course, Izzy gave me a couple of goodies. She gave me some coffee crisp biscuits, and as you can see, I haven't broken into them yet, and some ice wine tea, as she knows I love tea, and this is flavoured with the famous ice wine. So Ceylon tea with a flavour of ice wine, so that's really intriguing. She also gave me, and she gave Adam the same, one of her amazing mug rugs. Now, Izzy very often does, every couple of months she's been doing them, a tutorial for a different designed mug rug. They are absolutely fantastic. I'm going to put the link below to her last one that she did, but obviously if you go onto her channel you can see them all. So she's done them themed during this year, but look at this one. It is so precisely done. It is absolutely wonderful. Her sewing is impeccable. To compare, so you can get a visual comparison, this was the latest one I did, which is, do you remember that it looked like a hand and it was meant to be a sun? Look at the back of mine and then look at the back of hers. Quite a bit of difference there. I've even got obviously the sizing completely wrong as well. But she does just, it's beautiful. She does the stitch in the ditch around the outside, whereas I've actually gone around the outside. It's just a piece of art, and she's even put a label in, which I don't do. But wow, that's an incredible piece. Thank you so much, Izzy, once again. So as you may have seen last week, I am making this flower girl dress for my new granddaughter Chloe, and I'm sorry I go on about it every week. I promise this is probably going to be the last one. But I'm using the basis of 6628. It bears no resemblance other than I've used the shape of this pattern. It's just a bodice and a skirt and sleeves. If only it was just that. So last week I showed you one I made for her. This was the newborn size. We tried it on her at the weekend and it is too big. We've only got a couple of weeks to go now and she is still only £8. We thought and anticipated that she'd be slightly heavier by now, but she isn't. And we've only got a couple of weeks to play with. So I had to make another one of these. Now this of course would be a spare in case she suddenly puts on weight. The idea they absolutely loved, and the colour looks amazing on her. So she's obviously going to be a winter when she's older. She's obviously got kind of our skin tone, but yeah, it looked really good on her actually. So I've made another this week and it took me about 4 hours again. You wouldn't believe how long it takes to make these little dresses. It's things like the sleeve hem, they've all got to be hand sewn. I've hand sewn some poppers on. It's all French seams, it's all double layered, it's got jersey layer, it's got enclosed sleeves, all these things that I've never done before. So second time around it's actually quicker. And to model it, I went up into the loft and I've dragged out one of Katie's old dolls and I put it on the doll. Now I do hope I'm not going to give any of you nightmares because she's a creepy looking doll. But here we have it. I've cinched it in a little bit at the back because obviously this doll hopefully is a lot smaller than her. But yeah, we have the little dress here. Yeah, cinched it in a little bit at the back. I've made this one shorter as well, but it is still so cute, isn't it? It really is. So hopefully this will fit, and I'm sending it off now because we're not seeing my family until the actual wedding. So I'm going to send it off at the weekend and she's going to try it on again, and let's just hope that this will do. I have enjoyed making it. It's been a real challenge and real mind bender at times, and I really, really admire anybody that does this for a living, especially for tiny little babies or even little girls, because it must be just as fiddly. Thank you. So here you go, my finished wedding outfit. I'm really, really pleased with it, and it has been a journey with this as well. I showed you this dress last week. It wasn't quite finished, but it was New Look 6184. I did the fuller version and I haven't put a belt on because I didn't feel it needed it. The jacket, I talked about it briefly earlier, but it was Simplicity 9473. I did have my doubts about the two colours at times, but I think they do work together. So I'm going to show you a bit of footage of me modelling this outfit. It doesn't look too great on the on the mannequin for some reason, but yeah, I am really pleased with it. But let me now tell you about the jacket. So as I said briefly, the jacket, it's the first ever lined jacket I've ever done. And I assumed that, like most jackets, when you look on the inside, you've got sort of a 3-4 inch border of the outside fabric and then it goes into the lining fabric. That wasn't true with this one. So I cut out the main pieces, I cut out the lining, and when it said to sew it together, they're exactly the same size, and then alarm bells started to ring that you're going to be able to see that white on the outside. It doesn't say in the instructions to do understitching, but I did all around sort of the top edge here, all the way around. It didn't matter, you could still see it. Because it's like this, you know, it's naturally going to fold out every now and again. And all I could see was the white. I think I've got some pictures I'll put in for you. I really, really didn't know what to do. I've more or less finished the jacket. I'd sewn it along the bottom and I was not happy at all. In fact, I was almost quite upset about it because this is the first line jacket I've done and I really had high hopes for it. And I went and bought some beautiful lining. I think they call it habute or something. I can't remember. But anyway, so I bought that lining. And I actually messaged Jen. Well, I messaged all of our, as we call them, our Fab Five group. And I said, anybody available to help me right now? Because I really don't know what to do. And Jen said, I really don't know unless you take it all apart and rework it. At the time, we also weren't happy about the shape of the collar as well. There was just so much that just didn't look right. Anyway, we decided I would just put it to bed and think about it another day. The next morning, I thought I'd search to see what jackets were out in the high streets. And I actually came across, in a major high street store, this exact jacket shape. I thought, okay, so it is kind of in fashion. I'm going to battle on with this. The only thing I could think of to do was to take it completely apart, which I did. And I had the lining pieces and I then cut the lining down. First of all, I swapped the front panels. So this is what we've got left in the inside. I took out the lining that was going to be here and I actually replaced it with the linen. So the front is all complete linen. As you can see, I chopped a bit off the top and the bottom of this and I replaced what I'd cut off with some lining. So that meant that I had a bit of a border, but obviously I've still got the comfort of that. The sleeves I did exactly the same. Because you've got this curved bit up here, you know, you can see it now, it's coming out, and you'd have seen the white. So I did exactly the same. I got the sleeve part of the pattern piece and I chopped off and then I added the linen back on the bottom. So I think you can see. I think I'll try and put some photos in. I hope I've made it clear what I've done. All in all, I am very happy with it now. I think the colour does go well with it. It's a little bright, a bit of a contrast, but I think it works. And I'm happy with the jacket now. It hasn't been understitched at all, but that's not going to matter because you've got both sides are the same colour, which makes it so much better. So again, another journey for me this week, and it was nearly in the bin, I have to say. I was not happy with it, but I am now, and I think it looks quite a smart jacket. The fabric is a linen, but I think it's almost verging on is it Rami linen? It's not particularly, I think it's a blend. It's not particularly nice looking. Creases really, really easily, but it is comfortable. So it should work. It should be okay. To go with my wedding outfit, a while ago I watched Rachel on the French seams. She's in Ireland. She's got the most amazing channel. She is such a classy sewist, honestly. Everything she makes looks wonderful. But she'd gone to a wedding and she had made a matching bag, and I thought this outfit could really work. It is the Sew Over It bow bag. Now I think it costs about £5.50, so it's not a free pattern, but you can get it from Sew Over It. And it is a PDF, but that's fine. It's just a bag. I could cope with that. Or could I? This is where me and PDFs are just unlucky, or I'm careless. But when I went to print out the bag, this is what I printed off. I printed off the AO by mistake. So I have a pattern for a little Dolly's bag in the future, I think. Anyway, printed it all off and made it up, and I'm really pleased with it. So this is what we have. It's called the bow bag. It's meant to be a clutch bag where you can kind of hold it like that. But what I have done is I've put two little tabs on either side because I think I'm probably going to get a chain or something, or maybe even make a strap. This is fresh off the sewing machine, so I haven't really had much time to sort it out. But yeah, it's a little zip bag. It's got contrasting green lining in there. It's got the boxed off corners. Such a cute little pattern, and I think the two items are going to work really well together. Just need to decide about the strap. If I don't want the strap, of course, I can unpick those and take those out. But as a clutch, it's quite cute. But yeah, I'm really happy that that's kind of pulled the outfit together. I did put out a video earlier this week on, it's a new series that I'm going to be doing called the Fabric Wheel of Fate. I'll put a link to it at the end if you haven't seen it. But what it is, it's just a fun idea for me and for anybody else that wants to join in. You're welcome to have a go, do something kind of similar. I had some fabrics in my stash that have been there for years and years, and I just keep bypassing them all the time. So by the aid of a wheel that my father's made for me, the fabrics around the outside, the ones that I need to use up, I'm going to spin it, and obviously whatever it lands on, fabric it lands on, that's the one I have to use and make up in order. So I spun it this week and it landed on this kind of jersey ITY sort of slightly slinky jersey. I haven't done anything with it yet, but when I do, I'll put out another video with the results of what I've made, and then I'll spin it again, and so on and so forth. But yeah, if you like that idea, certainly have a go, because the more we use up in our stash, well, more we can buy. I've done another couple of bits of sewing this week, but they're for collabs that are coming up just in the next couple of weeks. So I won't reveal those as yet, but look out for those. I've also got, it's my mum's birthday on Sunday, and I'm just making her a quick little gift. Hopefully I can show you that next week, but just in case she watches it, I'm not going to spoil the surprise. So I've had a good week. It's rained a lot of this week in the UK, so the pictures I've got at the end are kind of rainy day autumn pictures for you. We had a great weekend, all the family, as I said before. Chloe came down, the new granddaughter, with my son and his wife, and I think all the family got to meet Chloe, which was amazing. This weekend is a little quieter. We're babysitting on Saturday, and as I said, it's my mum's birthday, so we're going over to see them. I had my hair cut this week. That was a rebrowned, as I call it. It was getting too long, and I've had about 2 inches cut off the back of it, but wow, it makes it so much lighter and it moves so much better, so I'm quite happy I've had that done. So next week, what will I be sewing? Well, I'm going to be just sewing something simple, I know that's for sure. I've got this style art pattern, Fran top. Now I bought this pattern from Amazon when they were on discounted, and I've got this wonderful cotton jersey here. So I'm going to give that a go because that looks nice and simple, and I'm going to enjoy just making something that doesn't involve lining or fitting or zips or anything like that. So not sure what I'm going to sew next week, but this is one of the things that I would like to make. So thank you for joining me on this week's #Friday Sews. If you want to check out any of my other Friday sews, I'll put the playlist at the end, along with my Fabric Wheel of Fate video. As I said, look out for a couple of collabs probably coming in the next couple of weeks, which I'm very excited about. One of them is the results of the Busy Bee Challenge number 3. So that will complete the Busy Bee challenges that we've been doing. Have a wonderful weekend. Hope you get lots of sewing in, and I will see you all very shortly. Bye bye for now.